nearby states, including the federal grid.
In another development, Lord Douglas says there would be serious consequences if the federal government fails to stop electricity workers from embarking on their planned nationwide strike. Dr. Lord Douglas, who also serves as the Southeast Regional Deputy Secretary General of the Senior Staff Association of Electricity and Allied Companies, gave the warning in an interview with correspondent Suebi Oruwari. He called on the federal government to intervene.
Their grounds are germane. You don't just discountenance an ultimatum with a wave of hand because it can have a far-reaching effect. The effect of electricity supply is not only when you have power in your house. Even when you don't have power in your house and the grid is on, there are so many networks that uses that grid to work. So when a grid is shut down automatically, it means that there are so many economic effects that is going to give to the country, even individuals.
He added that the union will continue to resist what he described as all forms of militarization of trade union activities by any company.
When the strike ultimatum is being given, don't discountenance it with a wave of hand and then make sure that it's being halted or the issues are being addressed. One of the most conspicuous one is where a unionized environment has been militarized, like in the generation companies. Investors have now militarized those areas and refused union activities. Deducting of payee and not remitting is also a big offense. So some of these issues are very germane that need attention.
Still on labor matters, the chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress in Rivers State, Alex Agwanwo, says he remains the substantive chairman of the Congress despite protests by members of his parent union, the Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, who claim he has been expelled. Recall that the NUPENG members demonstrated at Labour House on Wednesday. Speaking with correspondent Suebi Oruwari, Agwanwo said he was elected by delegates of the NLC Congress and not by members of NUPENG alone. He claims the union does not have the authority to remove him as chairman of the NLC in Rivers State.
It is not only NUPENG that elected me as NLC chairman, that's number one. I was elected by the entire Congress of NLC Rivers State Council. I'm a member of NUPENG and I have not been expelled from NUPENG. We have a pending matter in the court. Up to the Court of Appeal. So if you expel me and hold the position NLC, why don't you go back to the same court? So this is my still in NLC position. Why you have expelling? Why don't you go and go to the same court to challenge it?
He said efforts by the national leadership of NUPENG to get the Nigeria Labour Congress to enforce his alleged removal were rejected.
The National Industrial Court tried to claim that the large jurisdiction on matters that is already before him. If for us, we're not satisfied with that. We have to go to appeal. It's not only me. There are several members of the union that are involved in the matter. It's not only about Alex. NLC, CWC, and NEC have sat on this matter. Even in our last CWC and NEC meeting, the PENG president came there to make that claim, and the CWC of NLC shouted him down. That has no rights. The PENG has no such powers to ask them to withdraw me from NLC chairman.
Meanwhile, a member of the Rivers State Executive Council of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Chukwuka Osuma, says the Congress has not taken any decision on the demand by members of NUPENG that Alex Agwanwo should stop acting as chairman. He adds that this remains the position of the NLC despite the 7-day ultimatum earlier issued by the protesters for Agwanwo's removal.
Well, for now, NUPENG is parent this thing has given ultimatum 1 week. Maybe after the 1 week, they will give a grace again. As a member of NLC, if they call us, we'll go back and think of the next action. But we've written to our national headquarters too, waiting to hear from them. Already they are aware of the issue. Got the letter from NUPENG that Les was suspended. After some time, we went to court. Before we know it, straight away they caught this thing that he should go and reconcile with his union.
In a related development, Mr. Chukwuka Osuma is questioning the whereabouts of 6 CNG buses donated to the state leadership of the NLC by its national body. Speaking with correspondent Suebi Oruwari, Osuma said his union was excluded from the distribution of the buses. He adds that the concern arose after it was discovered that the vehicles were no longer at the Labour House in Port Harcourt.
6 buses that was given to us by the national NLC didn't give us anyone. Rather, they said they were instructed to use the car as to run a company or franchise around, which we are not told. We requested for one of the buses because as a major stakeholder, they were supposed to give us one of the buses like other states did. I mentioned that was where they told us that they got the directive from the national headquarters that was given to Rivers State. They don't have to tell us what to do.
Reacting to the concerns raised by Osuma, the Rivers State NLC chairman Alex Agwanwo said the CNG buses were intervention vehicles donated to the South state by the national leadership of the Congress. He explains that it was agreed at meetings of the NEC and CWC that the buses should be handed over to members of the National Union of Road Transport Workers to operate them for public transportation.
That's for public use. We're not the owner. We only took custody of the CNG buses from the National Secretariat, and we have also released them to road transport workers for the efficient use of it, for the benefit of the masses. Chivas said the one for SAP, and we shall be distributed the all SAP to tell you that we as a state council will not even get anyone because it's not for private or personal use, it's for public use. It was given to national. We did an official handover. CNG buses are not for only River State. Even when they came to commission it, it was stated clearly, not for union use.
Claims that vehicle inspection officers cannot work in all 36 states of Nigeria are misleading. This is according to the Chief Road Traffic and Vehicle Inspection Officer in Rivers State, Monibo Akubo. The clarification followed the judgment of the Court of Appeal, Abuja Division, which upheld an earlier decision of the Federal High Court restraining the VIO and Directorate of Road Traffic Services in the Federal Capital Territory from stopping motorists, impounding vehicles, or imposing fines. Speaking on Nigeria Info FM Hard Facts, Okubo explained that the claim has triggered repeated verbal abuse and physical assault on VIOs operating in the state. He adds that while the Federal Road Safety Corps are to focus on federal highways, vehicle inspection officers are lawfully permitted to operate on state roads.
There is this social media trend that there is a court judgment at Abuja that have said VIO should go away from Nigerian roads. Ignorant motorists decided to take that message that VIO is not supposed to be on the road, and they start attacking our officers. Wherever they see them, they harass them. Sometimes they assault them. So these are things we go through. But when we come to motor vehicle administration, is under the residual list in the Nigerian Constitution. That is, it is a state affair. VIO is a state parastatal and has the jurisdictions to work within all roads in the states.
The Federal Road Safety Corps Marshal Shehu Mohammed has warned personnel against extortion, harassment of motorists, and reckless enforcement of traffic. Speaking in Umuahia Corps mandate to save lives, laws, the Corps Marshal, who was represented at the event by Corps Commandant Paul Onwugbonu, said this in Umuahia. He expressed concern over declining professionalism and supervision among some field operatives, noting increasing complaints from the public about misconduct. He stressed that the FRSC is a life-saving institution, not a revenue-generating agency, and warned that erring personnel would face strict disciplinary action. Let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll tell you why Senator Sirake Dixon finally defected from the PDP to another party. Stay tuned. News. Civil society organizations play a key role in holding the government accountable, but experts say their impact depends on first regulating themselves. Speaking at a capacity building training in Port Harcourt on Thursday, team lead of Ethics and Good Leadership Awareness Initiative, Harry Udo, emphasized that CSOs must operate with integrity to earn public trust and legitimacy. Has said the sector's reputation has sometimes been questioned due to the unethical actions of a few organizations.
When you go to equity, you must go with clean hands. And civil society, they hold government accountable all over the world. And so we are saying for Nigerian civil society organizations to be able to then hold government accountable, you need to first of all clean your hand. There's a wrong perception about civil society organizations. Perhaps that perception influenced by certain actions of some civil society actors. But that is not the story for all civil society organizations in Nigeria. What we are doing with this is to then build capacity of the civil society organizations to be able to implement self-regulation principles in the organizations that then help them to operate in a way that engenders trust.
To tackle these challenges, Udo explained that EGLI's training equips CSOs with tools and knowledge to implement strong internal governance frameworks aligned with global best practices. He said it will help organizations comply with government regulations, improve transparency, and build legitimacy. Well-governed CSOs, he adds, are better positioned to promote good governance and foster trust between citizens and the state. Addressing past concerns that some CSOs might be involved in terrorism, funding, or money laundering, Odo clarified that no civil society organization in Nigeria has been conclusively linked to terrorism financing. He added that money laundering concerns are mostly linked to sectors such as hotels and real estate, often arising from procurement processes.
But again, I take you back to the national risk assessment that was carried out that then shows that no CSO in Nigeria has been used for that. Where there was a little, this thing was an international NGO operating somewhere in Borno State. There was a bit of a discrepancy. That's the only entity that has been flagged in Nigeria for suspicion, not confirmed, of terrorism financing. Illicit financial flows largely comes from procurement. But there is that suspicion as well that NGOs are susceptible to that and they can be source of money laundering. But I tell you that CSOs are not even involved. It's more of the real estate companies and hotels.
Correspondent Ifunanya Obemendukwe reports that leaders of CSOs from the South and Southeast regions attended the training. The senator representing Bayelsa West, Sarah K. Dixon, has defected from the People's Democratic Party to the newly registered Nigeria Democratic Congress. The former governor of Bayelsa State announced his decision during a media briefing in Abuja on Thursday. Senator Dixon said the irreconcilable differences in the PDP shrunk its umbrella, which could no longer accommodate many members, including himself. He lamented that the PDP has lost its voice on national issues, saying the leadership tussle crippled the party totally. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has confirmed that its substantive drug case against suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari is ongoing. The agency, which issued a clarification following the discharge of Kyari by Justice James Omotosho on a 23-count charge related to alleged non-declaration of assets, said the case is scheduled for continuation before Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court, Abuja, on Monday, 16 March 2026. NDLEA's Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, however, added that the prosecution team will first obtain a certified true copy of the judgment of his alleged non-declaration of assets to review its details before deciding on any next steps, including a possible appeal.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
The UAE Defense Ministry says it's responding to more Iranian missile and drone threats. Earlier, it said it had intercepted 6 missiles, but one had fallen inside the country. Meanwhile, explosions have been reported in Qatar and Bahrain, while Azerbaijan says it's preparing retaliatory measures after being attacked by 2 Iranian drones. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer says he will send 4 fighter jets to Qatar to strengthen UK's defensive operations. He also confirms that the first UK flight to bring citizens home has taken off. Starmer also defended his decision not to join the initial strikes on Iran after he declined a request to allow US planes to use British bases. He said his focus is on providing calm, level-headed leadership.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
And that's our package on the news this evening. You heard that the Nigerian Air Force has appealed to the Rivers State government to hand over the Mother and Child Hospital and a state-owned school close to the Air Force Base in Port Harcourt to it. We also told you that the Rivers State House of Assembly has sworn in 2 newly elected lawmakers. In the news this evening, you heard also that Senator Siraki Dixon has now defected from the PDP to the Nigerian Democratic Congress. And on the foreign scene, we told you that more strikes have hit Iran, Qatar and Bahrain as Azerbaijan is planning retaliatory measures against Iran. That was the news, as edited by Onwugbonu. To reach the news team, send an SMS or a WhatsApp message to 0808 721 7215. I am Okey Onwugbonu. Good evening. Many thanks for listening.